I never believed in anything supernatural until that night. The night when I received a call from my cousin, Dika, who asked me to come to the remote village where he worked. He didn't say much on the phone, just that something was terribly wrong in the forest near his village. Hurry, Rare, I need your help. This is a matter of life and death. His voice sounded desperate, even frightened. Dika wasn't the type to panic easily, so when he spoke like that, I knew it was serious. I quickly packed my things and drove through the night to that village. The road we took was full of sharp bends, shrouded in thick fog. Occasionally, I saw tall trees lining the road, standing like eerie guardians of the forest, as if warning us not to approach. When I arrived at the village, a strange atmosphere greeted me. Although the night was calm, there was an unsettling tension in the air, as if the forest surrounding the village held dark secrets waiting to emerge at any moment. After meeting Dika, he immediately took me to a small stall at the edge of the village. His eyes looked tired, his face pale, as if he hadn't slept for weeks. At the stall, he started to tell me about the strange occurrences the villagers had been experiencing in recent weeks. Ever since Mr. Herman, the village chief, entered that forest to gather wood, he never came back, Dika whispered, as if afraid someone might hear. And since then, people have started seeing shadows at the forest's edge, hearing whispers when they're alone. Some of them have even disappeared without a trace. Dika explained that there was a part of the forest called the Forbidden Forest by the villagers. The elders always warned against entering it, but no one knew why. They only said that the forest had long been claimed by something unseen. I've heard the whispers myself, Rare, Dika continued. At night, the voice calls from within the forest, as if something, or someone, is waiting for us to enter. Though terrified, I couldn't let Dika face this alone. We decided to venture into the forest the next night, hoping to find some clue as to what was really happening. That night, I had trouble sleeping, haunted by the shadows and whispers Dika had mentioned, which felt more real than ever. When night fell, we walked anxiously to the forest's edge. A soft breeze rustled through the night, but there was something in the air that made my skin crawl. The tall trees loomed above us, their branches reaching out like arms, as if welcoming us into their dark embrace. As we entered the forest, the atmosphere changed immediately. A chilling cold enveloped us, and the whispers began. Not just ordinary whispers, this was like a voice coming from inside my head, a faint voice calling my name. Rare, Rare, come deeper. I stopped, turning to Dika. His eyes were fixed on the darkness ahead of us. Did you hear that too? I asked, my breath catching in my throat. He nodded, his face growing paler. The deeper we went, the clearer the whispers became. We reached a part of the forest that seemed untouched by human hands. The trees here were denser, with large roots jutting out from the ground like the veins of the earth. In the center of the forest, we saw something, a dilapidated building, almost entirely covered by creeping vines. This looks like the house of the old forest keeper who disappeared, Dika muttered. We cautiously approached the building. Just as we were about to reach the door, a large shadow flitted behind us. My heart nearly stopped. We turned, and there, beyond the trees, stood a tall, thin figure with glowing red eyes. The creature looked more like a long-dead human, its skin pale, its body wrapped in a tattered black cloak. It stood still, watching us. "Don't move," Dicka whispered, his voice trembling. But my body had already frozen, as if trapped by the creature's gaze. The whispers grew louder, crashing into my mind like an unstoppable wave. And that's when I realized something. This creature was the source of the whispers. It had been calling us, waiting for us to fall into its trap. The creature advanced slowly, and I felt my entire body grow cold, as if my life was being drained from me. Dicka tried to pull me away, but the creature was already too close. In a panic, I tried to remember all the stories I'd heard about this forest. There was one legend that mentioned a forgotten forest guardian spirit, angered because its final resting place had been disturbed. This spirit could only be appeased by returning what had been taken from it. "Something was taken from here," I whispered to Dicka. "Something that angered this spirit." We retreated slowly, leaving the old house and returning to the village. Once there, we met an elder who finally revealed the truth. Decades ago, the village's last forest keeper had been murdered by illegal loggers who took something sacred from his grave, a talisman believed to protect the forest. The village elder said the talisman was still in the village, hidden in an unknown location. We didn't have much time. The creature was growing stronger each night, and we knew that if we didn't find the talisman soon, the entire village might be in danger. After searching the village, we finally found the talisman hidden beneath the house of the missing village chief. That night, we returned to the forest, bringing the talisman with us. When we reached the heart of the forest, the creature reappeared, larger and more terrifying than before. Trembling, we placed the talisman on the ground, right in front of the creature. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the creature stopped moving. Its glowing red eyes began to dim, and the whispers in our heads gradually faded. The creature slowly dissolved, leaving behind a faint mist that was quickly absorbed into the earth. The forest fell silent once again. After that night, the whispers from the forest stopped. The villagers who had gone missing were eventually found, though some were in a horrific state, as if they had been lost in a place that couldn't be found. The forbidden forest returned to its eerie silence, but no longer carried the same threat. I left the village with a sense of relief, but also with the understanding that some secrets are better left undiscovered. What we had encountered in that forest was not just a legend, but a terrifying reality. And though the spirit had been appeased, I knew, somewhere deep in the forest, it was still watching,